We have been talking about how to be inclusive for the insurance industry, what is the role with this Spanish case, and it's a very interesting presentation. We're going to move to another keynote speaker. The second one will be about climate transition and what is the role of insurance sector in the climate transition, what are the challenges and opportunities. And our speaker is coming from Brazil. He's the president of the Brazilian Insurance Federation, Mr. Dyogo Oliveira. Mr. President, the floor is yours. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for crossing the Atlantic Ocean to join us.
Hello. For sure it's a long journey to make it here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues. It's really great pleasure to take part of this edition of the Rendezvous de Casablanca de la Churras. I'm pleased to greet the President of the Moroccan Federation of Insurance, Mr. Mohamed Hassan Ben Salah. But I would also like to express a special word on a friend. I believe all of you will agree with me. This great friend, Bashir Badou. Bashir, thank you very much for the invitation, for the friendship. But before developing the topic of this panel, please allow me to bring a little overview on the Brazilian insurance market. Brazil's insurance market is a very modern one, very digitalized, complex. Insurance companies in Brazil are extremely efficient, digitalized companies, and still investing a lot in new technologies. Last year, we estimate around $5 billion on technology investments. The size of the Brazilian market is around 6% of GDP. It's not that much. We have a long road to go. There are 140 companies active in Brazil, both national and international companies. The market has been growing fast the last few years, around 10% a year since the pandemic. But we still have a great challenge about the protection gap. Just like Mirencio just mentioned, Brazil is even worse. In Brazil, I would say the protection gap is still around 80%. In some areas, is even worse. In agriculture, for example, only 5% of the production area is protected with insurance. In cars, the numbers are a little bit better, but still only 30% of the fleet is insured. So this is the main challenge still today in Brazil. How are we going to close the protection gap? And we've been working a lot on that. Well, now you know everything about Brazilian market, so I can move on with the topic I'm supposed to work here today with you. Well, and the topic is on the top of the agenda, and I go straightforward, is the urgent need for our industry to take decisive action on the climate agenda. We've been away from this discussion, and we are suffering the consequences already, but I really believe that we can make a change on that. Let's first understand the reasons why we should do that. And the reason has a lot to do with image. And talking about image, I remembered that movie. Most of you must have seen The Incredibles. It's an animated movie made for kids, of course. If you didn't see, I do recommend you to see. Besides the view it offers on insurance, It's a very good movie. It's funny. But this movie offers a very interesting perspective on how society perceives the insurance industry. The problem is that it shows a very distorted, misguiding view on our industry. In this movie, the main character, Roberto, is the father, and he works on an insurance company. And what the movie shows is that he is constrained by bureaucracy, he's forced to deny claims, he's unable to really complete his job and help the clients when they are in great need. We know this is not true, but we have to recognize that this is how we are seen. In his other life as a superhero, Mr. Incredible helps people. And he starts doing this in the insurance company as well, helping the clients to move around the bureaucracy, to fill the right forms and so on. And of course, he gets fired because you cannot do this. This is striking. It reflects how our industry is often perceived as inefficient, overly bureaucratic, and disconnected from people's real needs. And perhaps more important, it shows how this perception is formed early on, even through movies that are made for kids. Over the past few years, since I took office, I've been thinking about it because I see our work is a great work for society. We provide assistance when it's mainly needed. But why? Why our industry is seen as that? There are many explanations, possible explanations for that. Lack of transparency, complexity, communication gaps. But ultimately, I believe that there is one fundamental issue. We have not taken full ownership on how we present ourselves to society. We are too shy. We are too calm. We need to show confidence. But being this way, we are lacking the opportunity to present ourselves the right way and to take the results from that. I once heard from a Brazilian old insurer. He said, Dyogo, less the client knows, less the client hears from us, less claims I receive. I really don't believe there is statistical evidence on that. Probably the opposite. The less the client hears from us, the less premium we receive. But for sure, we are one of the most misunderstood markets, business in the market. We frequently hear that society does not recognize the importance of insurance. But we should not place ourselves as victims. We are largely the responsibles for that. The good news is, I do believe we can change it. We can improve our communication. We can change the vocabulary we use. We can be more transparent, etc. We can do lots of things. In fact, we should do all these things. We should do them with strength. But I have to say, this is not going to be enough. To really change the way people see the insurance business, we need to take action. And the climate agenda offers a unique opportunity, a powerful opportunity to do that. By engaging meaningfully in climate risk, we can demonstrate to society, to governments, and to global stakeholders that the insurance industry plays a critical role in addressing one of the greatest challenges of our time. In Belém, last year, we developed the House of Insurance during the COP30. COP is everybody knows, the Conference of Parties of the United Nations on Climate. The House of Insurance put together the CNseg team and other 10 insurance companies and sponsors, including both national and international players. We engaged several different economic sectors, from automotive industry, infrastructure, finance, agribusiness, cities, transportation. The House of Insurance became a hub of content and cross-sector engagement, convening government authorities, business leaders, policymakers, climate experts, scientists, and academia from Brazil and abroad. Many lessons emerged from this experience. One of the clearest to me was that the role of insurance is undergoing a deep transformation. It is no longer restricted to post-disaster compensation. The sector is increasingly expected to anticipate, to mitigate risks, and meaningfully contribute to the climate transition. That means strengthening data collection, management, processing capabilities, improving predictive and underwriting models, and incorporating climate change in the decision-making process, not as an exception, but as a core component of the risk. The society expects that we take action, that we take this role, that we assume the responsibility that we have. At COP30, our focus was to give the activities of the House of Insurance a strong action-oriented and outcome-driven profile. In this context, we introduced new deliverables. We implemented the first phase of what we call the Climate Risk Hub in Brazil, integrating data, analytics, and insights to support insurers in the decision-making process. CNseg offers a bunch of services for the Brazil insurance market, and at this phase we are focusing on services related to the climate change. For the first time, I have to say, the role of insurance in the climate transition was formally recognized in the official documents of COP. I have to remark that this has never ever happened before. In the 29th previous COP, not a word about the insurance business. We were completely absent from this debate. But I believe that after the COP30, we need to build on this momentum. We started to get this recognized. People start to recognize the role of insurance in the discussion. We need to build on this. However, the question remains, how can we do this in practice? And we need to do it fast because we are already experiencing major financial impact from natural disasters. Last year, the industry paid around $130 billion on claims related to natural disasters. Faced with this reality, some companies are choosing to withdraw from high-risk areas. I believe this is a mistake. I believe this is not the right answer. Instead, we must invest in knowledge, strengthen risk modeling, develop more sophisticated mechanisms of risk diversification, build public-private partnerships. We need to deeper integration across global markets, allowing risks to be shared efficiently between regions such as Brazil, Australia, Europe, and beyond. This is not only about resilience, it's about opportunity. By aligning ourselves with the climate agenda, we can reshape how our industry is received, while continuing to operate as sustainable and profitable business. So the real question is not whether we should act, but how we choose to be seen. Do you want to be perceived as the bureaucratic insurance agent that movie, or as a relevant and effective actor in addressing global risks? Personally, I don't believe we are meant to be heroes. Business are not meant to be heroes. But we are meant to deliver. We are meant to be effective. We are expected to deliver value to our clients, to the society, to the government. And you are expected to do that also when related to catastrophic risks. And above all, we are expected to be prepared to absorb and manage the risks that society faces. But purely local solutions will be more costly, less efficient, and may ultimately widen the protection gap. With this in mind, CNseg comes to Casablanca with an invitation for all of you, for all of your organizations, an invitation to recognize both the opportunity and the responsibility ahead of us. Our proposal is to move forward with a bold vision for the future, promoting a stronger alignment across global insurance sector, and fostering knowledge exchange to accelerate the development of high-quality, scalable solutions. It is with this spirit that I'm pleased to share with you a view for the first time. We think we should create a global insurance task force on climate change. We should ally ourselves. This initiative should not only tackle the problems, but to expand the dialogue, but to enable coordination, connect capabilities, and translate knowledge into action in a global perspective. The Rendezvous de Casablanca provides the first global stage on this proposal, which, if embraced, we could launch at the COP31 in November that will be held in Turkey. We are living a moment of transition from debate to real action, a moment that calls for responsibility, coordination, and leadership. We must be ready to respond and to embrace the opportunities that arise in this challenging environment. I have to say that nowadays, climate is a great risk, but risk is our business. So let us act together, let us lead the solutions, let us build a truly global response to the climate risk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Really appreciate your presentation and this talk. Just want to say that I really appreciated the fact that it's a call to action. And when it's about climate transition, it cannot be a local solution. It has to be a global, collective solution. And what I appreciate also is that the call for action that you give us here in Casablanca after Belém, the Casa de Seguro, is about a global call to action, bringing all the stakeholders led by insurance industry globally to give this action to better help people for their daily life. One last question for you, if you allow me. When you showed the 1 billion loss for the 49 events that you have been sharing with us, do we count in that what we call generally the intangible asset? For example, in a country like yours or like ours, and particularly in Brazil, when you have part of the loss of the forest or something like this? This is something that we don't count, I guess.
Yeah, in fact, the House of Insurance was the House of Insurance was a great experience. It showed that it is possible that the industry engage in this agenda, and there are great expectations about our role, not only in managing risk, but also in investment, in sustainable projects, and so. But what I see is that we really need this call of action, because by doing it separately, country to country, of course we will find some solutions, but they will be inefficient. I do believe that this is a global problem, and it needs a global response. And in fact, the calculated loss, they do not take count on intangible, and did not take count to the loss of growth in the future, and all the losses of human losses. So it's a great tragedy that we are facing in these natural disasters, and I really believe that we have a lot to do with the insurance business on this. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.